another episode of Lead and Learn with Occupational Health and Safety. My name is Amu Molema. Thank you for joining me once again, guys, on my channel. Today we're going to speak about a very controversial topic, registration with the SACPCMP. I've been getting a lot of messages and also been seeing a lot of comments about people how to go about registering with the SACMP, why we need to register, and I think also like some controversial statements regarding the SACMP as a statutory body and safety officers also. So we're gonna talk about those kind of things today, and let's jump right into it, guys. Welcome to my channel, Lead and Learn with Occupational Health and Safety. Okay, now guys, why do we need to register with the SACPCMP? Now the SACPCMP, guys, it's a statutory body, it's a regulatory authority, right? Now this means that if you want to practice as a legal health and safety officer, manager, or agent, or safety rep right now, you have to register with the SACPCMP because it's the recognized body in South Africa, right, according to Department of Labor. So meaning that it's legally recognized. It's not just somebody that just popped out of nowhere. It's legally recognized, and it is in the Act, it is in the construction regulation that you need to register with the SACPCMP for you to be recognized as health and safety personnel or professional, right? Okay, so we need to register with the SACMP as a body that holds this profession, as a body that holds the profession, as a body that constitutes this profession. Now, a lot of health and safety people, rather, they are not happy with the body. I know there was an open letter written to the SACPCMP a few years ago regarding why safety officers need to pay so much money, and why a health and safety officer is the only person who needs to be registered, who is stated in the Act that they need to be registered, because every other profession that is within the construction industry the Act doesn't really say anything about them having to be registered, right? So it's only the health and safety officers. So the open letter was actually going out to the profession regarding that question as to why only the safety officer and why so much money. Because with regards to project managers, to quantity survey, to everybody in fact who's involved in the construction, why are they also not like constituted? Why are they not required to be within the body, within the SACMP body, and only the safety officer? So anyway, the reason we need to be registered, why we need to register with the SACPC, it's because it is the statutory body that is recognized in South Africa. Without it, guys, I promise you, and I cannot stress this enough, without it, you will struggle to get a job. Without it, you will not get a job, or you will struggle to get a job, okay? It's not impossible, because I think employers also are getting to that understanding that, okay, if I'm in the process of getting it, or I have started registering with the SACMP, just that it's taking time, because they also know lead time for SACMP is very long. So I think employers also understand now that I can employ you even though you don't have the certificate, the registration yet, or you are in the process of getting it. They do employ you. So employers, it's okay. It is okay to employ us without the certificate or without the registration, but it is not advisable because it is a lot of money. It is a lot of money, guys. It's a lot of money. I think I have spent, just to register, for registration only, I think I have spent a good 7,000 going from candidate, going from exam, logbook, assessments, exam fee, registration fee, to now the safety officer, it has cost me a good 7,000, guys. That's a lot of money. That is a whole lot of money, you know. Especially, I feel bad for, especially if you're not working, where you're gonna get that 7,000 to actually even be registered, okay, if you're not working. But if you're working, I guess maybe you can talk to your employer to assist you financially, and maybe you guys can have some payback type of arrangement. I don't know, but it's very expensive, and hence the controversy of the whole body. Why only the safety officer and not other professions within the construction industry? So yeah, we need to bear in mind that financial burden of the SACPCMP. All right. Now, SACPCMP has different categories of registration. It has, okay, the candidate safety officer. It has the health and safety manager. It has the health and safety agent. Right, those are the candidates of the different types of regulations, and of the different types of categories that you can register with in the SACMP. Now, before we jump into the categories in detail, right? Before we jump into the categories in detail, I actually want us to go through the process of applying online. So the process of applying online, you're going to start by going to a website. Their website is called mychs.sacpcmp. My CHS is my construction health and safety .sacpcmp. That is their website that you're gonna go to. And then, because remember now they had that whole website upgrade. If you go to their old website, it's still there, but it's hardly functioning, you know, but it's not recognized by the body anymore, because there are some, if you're still using the old website and you're uploading your documents on the old website and doing all your updating of details on the old website, the body will not recognize it, because information is not really on the old system anymore, but on the new system. So you will need to use this new one that starts with mychs.sacpcmp. That is their new website that they're using. Okay. Now, once you go to that website, you will scroll down, and then you scroll down to the page. You scroll down to apply to register. From apply to register, it's going to take you to a different page, a different browser. Now you have to create a profile. When you want to apply to register, you create a profile first. From creating a profile with all your biographical information, with all your work experience, all your personal details, that's where you're going to put all your information. And then now that information is like just your name, surname, ID number, nothing detailed yet, right? Okay. And then after creating your profile, it's going to take you, now you're going to move to apply for designation. Right? Now, applying for a designation means that you apply to be a candidate, or you're applying to be a safety officer, or you are applying to be a manager or a safety agent, right? So you've got 4 candidates now at this point. You've got agent, officer, manager, and agent. No, you've got candidate. Okay, now at this point, you've got candidate, officer, manager, and agent, right? Yes, you've got 4. Okay, now to apply for these designations, they call them designations. To apply for these designations, it'll depend on 2 things: your work experience and your qualifications. Okay, and how you are placed. So you can apply for candidate. You can apply, the first one would be a candidate. You can apply for candidate if you don't have work experience and you've got certain or some degree of educational background, and no work experience, then you can apply to be a candidate. You can apply to be a candidate, right? Now that means that you have never worked anyway, and you only have like maybe a certificate or a diploma or a BTech or a degree, but you've never worked anyway. You can apply to be a candidate, and usually when you're applying to be a candidate in that regard, it'll depend on whether you have a certificate or a diploma or a degree or BTech. If you've got a certificate, right, they can put you on candidateship for about 3 years. If you only have a certificate and no work experience, they can put you there for about 3 years. And if you have a diploma and no work experience, they can put you on candidateship for about 2 years, right? And then if you have a degree or a BTech and no experience, they can put you on candidateship for a year, right? Maybe 6 months to a year on candidateship. And then if you do have experience, like maybe you've got some work experience and a certificate, then they can put you on like, okay, fine, obviously like the more educational background you have and the more experience you have, the less candidate years you're gonna get. Okay, so if maybe, for example, because I know when I started, when I first applied, I had a degree and 1 year working experience, and a degree, and they put me on 1 year of candidateship, right? They put me on 1 year of candidateship because of my experience. I had very little experience and I had a degree, so that's not quite enough. So meaning that actually the SACPCMP looks at an overall. Even if it happens that you have only a certificate and you've got like 5 years of experience, I don't even think they'll put you on candidateship. They'll probably put you straight to being a safety officer. You won't have to be on candidate because you've got more experience and less educational. So meaning they do a wholesome assessment. They don't only look at education or only look at experience no, they look at it all together and combine it and determine, also based on your reports, based on your A1 and A2 reports, they also determine whether to put you on candidateship or straight to safety officer, or on candidateship for how long, right? Now that's when you apply for a candidate. Now if you're going to apply for a safety officer, if you're going to apply for directly straight for a safety officer, you have to have more than 2 years experience and some educational background, okay, like a diploma. If you've got a diploma and you've got more than 2 years working, then you're qualified to be straight into safety officer. That's good, no problem. And then if you have more than 4 years working and you have a diploma, you qualify to apply as a manager, a health and safety manager, construction health and safety manager, if you have more than 4 years working. And then if you have more than 6 to 8 years and you've got a diploma only, then you can apply to be a construction health and safety agent. Now that is top notch, right? That is top of the food chain. That is top of the range to be a health and safety agent. Now guys, when you're a health and safety agent, also another thing I must mention is that between an agent, a manager and an officer, you also have different roles to play. So meaning that when you're a safety officer, you cannot just do agent responsibilities. When you're a manager, you cannot just do agent responsibilities. It all goes according to rank, and according to those ranks you can do different things within your profession, right? Okay, for example, when you're an agent, your responsibilities start from right guys, now if you want, now with regards to registration with these okay, now with regards to the categories of the construction health and safety, there's the agent, manager, and officer. And like I mentioned, like we've got different roles. The agent's role, his role starts from, oh no, let's talk about her. Okay, the agent, her role, his or her role, the agent's role will start from the project design, all right? From the moment that the project is being designed with engineers and all those, that's where the health and safety agent's role will begin, all the way up to closeout of the project. And then the manager, the health and safety manager, usually their role will begin from the tender phase of the project, and usually that is by the contractor, right? Because remember, the agent will be hired by the client, and then the manager, usually it can be from the contractor, because the manager's role will only begin from tender phase. How to tender, how to price, how to the safety plan when you're tendering, basically all information that you need when you are still in the tender phase of the project. How to do your safety plan, how to do your baseline risk assessments, all the qualifications and registrations, which SACMP is very important for tendering, and all the way up to close out, right? So the manager will be from tender phase to close out. And then the officer, the construction health and safety officer, now their role will begin at the building phase of the project, when now it's just before building, when you have to do your safety file, you have to do your safety compliance on site, all the way up to close out of the project. So those are 3 different categories and 3 different phases of the project where the project begins. So like, let's just recap. The agent will begin at the design phase of the project with the client, usually with the client and the consultants and the engineers, whereas you guys are still designing the project. And then the manager, the construction health and safety manager's role, will begin from tender phase, where now the contractor is bidding for this project, right? And they are usually from the contractor. And then the officer. Now the officer, his role will come in during the building phase. Their role, okay, wait. The officer, their role will come in from the building phase of the project, where they now need to compile a safety file and compile or conduct rather general health and safety compliance on site. That's the different categories. And then the candidate, their phase will also now begin in building, but with the candidate, they have to work under a registered, being a candidate, you have to work under a registered safety officer or safety manager or safety agent even, but you have to work under somebody. So meaning that as an agent, you cannot hold down a project of your own. You have to be working with somebody. Otherwise, who's going to sign off on your documents, who's going to sign off on your logbook and those kind of stuff, So that's why it's important, important for candidates to have somebody that they are working under, right? Okay, now I want us to speak about our our reports, our Annexure 1 reports and our Annexure 2 reports. Now, our Annexure 1 report is our project profiles. Usually this is giving experience, writing an essay on the experience that you have worked over the past 2 to 4 years, or 4 to 5, 4 or 5 years, all the experience that you have, which will be inclusive the name of the project, the type and description of the project, the geographic locations of the project, as in where was the project based, right? And then the name of the client, your position, the position of your client agent, and the contact details of your client agent or your client rep, somebody that they can contact, that just to confirm that yes, you were involved in that project. But yeah, and then also you would need to list of participating organizations. Participating organizations would be your subcontractors, or if you had like you know how you had consultants that were involved in your project, engineers that were involved in your project, from the different bodies and from the different companies. Maybe they were doing, and you were hands-on with them, you know. So that's when you will need to list them. The year started and the year completed, right? So if you started like mid-year, you can state that. You also ended mid-year, you can also state it. That will just give the assessor an idea of your year's experience. Yeah. And then your original completion date. Completion dates change all the time. Completion dates can change, various to months, various to years even. For example, if your completion date was supposed to be in June, for example, and it'll start moving weeks by weeks, and then it'll start moving by month to month, and then it'll just it'll move by year to 1 year, usually not more than a year, there's not more than a year. And that also just gives the assessor an idea of delays, an idea of what could have been causing the delays. You can even put that in your project profile as to why your original completion date moved from June to December. You can just add the reason for the delays, and then what your role was in the delays, or your role was in assisting to mitigate those delays, right? And then the actual completion date. So in your report, you're gonna put your original completion date and your actual completion date, right? And then you also put the percentages of completion, practical completion. Practical completion, I think being a safety officer or a safety rep, but practical completion just usually means when is this project, and when has it ended, and when can the people use it, right? When is it now usable, or if it's residents, when can the people start residing in there, if it's residents. And the total value of the project, and the percentage participation of your organization okay. If, for example, you are a subcontractor, and you are responsible maybe you're only responsible for building perimeter walls and plastering and painting. That's like a percentage of the project. It's not the complete project, but a percentage of the project. So you will state what percentage that was, and also your specific role in the project. Now, your specific role would be a health and safety agent, a health and safety officer, or a health and safety manager, or a health and safety rep, or a candidate health and safety officer. And then, was the project successfully completed? Yes, it was, or no, it was not. It was left in the middle, or we did not complete because of finances, because of whatever, and also give valid reason as to why it was not completed. I just want to actually go back to your specific role in the project. And also, I just want to advise you guys, if you are a safety rep, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the company has employed you as. Even if the company has employed you as a safety rep, but I would advise for you to start your registration as a candidate health and safety officer. Don't wait for the company to maybe appoint you as a safety officer or promote you as a safety. No, rather, even if you're a safety rep or junior safety officer, start with your registration as a candidate health and safety officer, regardless of what you are employed at. Because now this was just like putting you steps ahead in the right direction. Because the day that you are now employed as a health and safety officer, it means that all your documents would be right, all your paperwork, all your registration. It just makes you more easily employable, right? So I would really advise for you guys to really start with your registration, regardless of what the company has employed you as. Because remember, guys, with regards to your SACPCMP registration, it is your registration. It's not the company's registration. It's something that you have a right to practice with everywhere you go. Even if this company can fall tomorrow, or this company can fire you tomorrow, or they retrench you or whatever, but even if you leave this company tomorrow, you still take this very document of yours, or this very registration of yours, to the next company, and it is your baby, okay? Not the company's baby, but your baby. Okay, so yeah, that was just a deviation. But now, just to get back to topic, yes, now regarding Annexure 2, your Annexure 2 is now your essay about how much you know about health and safety, not your project profile, not about your project or where you've worked or your participation, but now how much do you know about health and safety in the workplace. Now you have to be very careful when you are writing this report, because now this report, it's not about the company, it's not about how the company operates, what the company allows or doesn't allow, what the company accommodates or does not accommodate. It's about you as a health and safety professional, whether the manager or an agent or an officer or a candidate. It's about you, and this report determines whether they're going to put you in candidateship or straight to officer or straight to manager, and it's also going to determine for candidateship how long they're going to put you there for, based on this very report, your Annexure 2, okay? Because this is going to give us, the assessor, it's going to give the assessor an idea of how much you know about health and safety. So yes, like I said, the Annexure A2, it's your own experience, not the company's operations, not the company's allowables or what, but your own experience and how much you know about health and safety. So even if you are not practicing something, but you know about it, you've got an idea about it, or you practiced it previously where you were employed, you put it down in this report, just to put down how much you know. And this report is important, you write it in first person, meaning that you're going to write, I did this, I was able to accomplish this, not we, not the company, not we, but I, okay? Now there's some titles. There's some titles or topics that you need to discuss within your A2 report. It's called the nine scopes of services. 9 scopes of services for the construction health and safety, and we're going to get into that right now. So meaning that when you start developing your when you start writing down your essay, you're going to touch on procurement management, you're going to touch on cost management, you're going to touch on hazard identification management, risk management. Then 9, né? And then number 5, you're going to touch on incident or accident investigation management, and then on legislation and regulatory management. And then you're also going to touch on health and hygiene and environmental management. And then number 8, you're going to touch on communications management. And then number 9, you're going to touch on emergency preparedness management. Now, as a safety officer, as a construction health and safety officer, from hazard identification management going down, you are hands-on. You are hands-on, first place, involved in that. Now, with procurement management and cost management, right? Most of us won't have 100% experience with that, because usually a company has procurement managers and we don't really know. But then what I would advise is that you get into the procurement part of safety, meaning that always go online, always check up on different prices of things. different types of various mitigation measures. For example, if you want to get into PPE procurement, look at the types of PPE available, look at the expensive one, the cheap one, the good quality one, the bad quality one. This will also just help you know and understand when you are ordering PPE. Because remember, as a safety officer, your job will just be to order PPE from your procurer, your procurement. Okay guys, so with procurement management, as a safety officer, you're not usually 100% involved in that process. So I know that most of us safety officers, we wouldn't know much, but you have to keep yourself updated and have a clue, have an idea with the pricing, with the quality, with also lead time and availability. Lead time and availability of certain items that you're going to use on site. For example, you know about PPE, you know the different types of PPE you want to procure, you know so you know about the different types of PPE you want to procure. You also know about the different types of control and mitigation measures that you want to use on site. So just get yourself familiar in terms of the pricing, the quality, the availability and lead time of these type of materials, right? Just so that you have an idea about procurement management in safety, so that one day, guys, in this life, you're gonna have your own consulting business. And when you go to consulting business, guys, you are doing everything from accounting to procurement to cost to everything. So you need to have an idea of these things, okay? Yeah, so that also goes for cost management. Just get yourself familiar with the pricing, know the difference between pricing and quality, know the difference that if I'm getting cheap shoes, it means I'm gonna have to get cheap shoes 4 times a year. If I'm getting a little bit expensive Yana shoes, it means I'm gonna get expensive shoes once a year, as opposed to getting them 4 times a year. That 4 times a year can end up making me get pay that price of the expensive ones, but just spread out over the years. But so, you know, just get yourself familiar with those kind of things, so that you can be able to, you know, run your own company, girl, one day, you know. So yeah, guys, those are the 9 scope of services of a health and safety profession, being a manager, an agent, or a safety officer. Those are the 9 scopes of professions. And then after that, guys, after you've written your annexures and your annexure 1 and 2 are the most important things, and then all the other details are quite easy, because they're just like your personal details, your current employment details, your educational background details, right? Okay. Now, guys, my advice, I just want to advise you guys when it comes to SACMP. I know that there are people out there that make you pay a certain amount so that they can do this whole registration process for you. I don't want to advise on that. In fact, I would not advise on that, guys, because they're gonna write the whole thing for you. They're gonna do your reports. They're going to remember, like I said, your annexure 1, it's your report, your experience, your exposures. So if they are writing it for you, it means that they are faking it, right? They are putting their experience as if it's you. And then now come the exam or come the interview, you won't even be able to answer because you didn't do the whole step. So I would usually advise that you go through the whole process by yourself. You go through, I know it takes time, it takes a lot of money, but you just go through the whole process by yourself, so that, guys, by the time that you are registered, you are so confident that you can write that exam without having to study 2 times, 5 times. You just study once and you go write your exam and you pass. I mean, that exam is easy peasy, guys, especially if you went through the whole process. You know about procurement management, you know about hazard. You know what, with your Annex A2 report, I feel like it prepares you for the exam, because like, if you're going to write about hazard identification, risk management, incident and accident, if you're going to write an essay about that, it means that by the time the exam comes and they're asking you these things, you already know, you already know how to answer them. I just prefer that you write your own. You go through this process by yourself, write your own things, pay that money. I know it's expensive, but it's all gonna pay out in the end, and it pays out because now you are more employable, guys. It's easy for you to get jobs. It's easy for you to get job interview, especially in this day and age that we're living in. Like, people are losing their jobs left, right, and center. People are getting retrenched. Companies are also falling. Companies are closing down, and it's nobody's fault really. It's just the current state of the country. But get yourself prepared, get yourself equipped, put yourself on a step above or a road above what the next person. Get your registration, guys. Your registration is so important. Much as there's all this boycott, the SACPCMP, boycott this, boycott that, there's open, like, I understand the frustration. I really do, trust me. And my frustration is that I started with my SACMP registration a very long time ago, and because I also had the same attitude towards it, that I'm not gonna register with these people, I'm not gonna pay this amount, I'm not gonna do this, it just delays you. It delays you in the sense that you're not gonna get your registration, and if you don't have a registration, you're not gonna get jobs. So it's better that you just get your registration, get your papers in order, get your registration in order, so that you can get jobs. You can move from safety officer, from safety rep, to being a manager or an agent at some point in this life, or one day, guys, like I said, opening our own consulting companies, like, just, it's really important, guys. Much as it's expensive and annoying, and they're very slow, and they don't reply, and this and that and this, just get it, guys. Get it in order, follow it, chase it like it's your baby, because it's your life, it's your career. So with that said, guys, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, guys, and I'm sorry for taking time, but I understand everybody's frustrations with the SACMP. And once again, thank you for watching the videos. Please like the video, subscribe on the subscribe button, and comment, guys. Thank you for the comments. I really appreciate the positive comments that I've been getting, guys. Yeah, so hit the subscribe button, like the videos, and comment in the comment sections what other things would you like us to talk about. Okay, so adios, guys, until next time. Ciao.